And now we're having the umpires converge as manager Brad Ausmus went out to complain about something. Now the umpiring crew is waving out Terry Francona. I have no idea what this is all about, but Brad Ausmus came out and said something, and the Indians didn't act like anything unusual happened, but now they're looking at Bryan Shaw. It looked like Bryan Shaw's wedding ring was being examined by Gary Cedarstrom. Bryan Shaw took off his wedding ring, but that's on his left hand, his glove hand. No idea what Brad Ausmus was checking, but here comes Brad Ausmus. He's not checking with the crew chief. He's checking with a home plate umpire. I don't know if they thought Shaw was scuffing up the baseball
maybe so.
In his glove, but whatever. Wasn't any kind of a penalty handed down to Shaw or the Indians. No idea. That is called a desperate manager who's called a team meeting yesterday, seeing his team getting beat up again today, and now he is still barking at, I don't know, is he hollering at the Indians dugout? He sure looks like it. And the Indians are barking back at him. And here comes Ausmus looking into the Indians dugout. And here comes the first base ump and crew chief Gary Cedarstrom. And Brad Ausmus, maybe he's trying to light a fire under his club. He's claiming that Shaw is scuffing the baseball with something in his glove. And when they looked at Shaw, they had him take off his wedding ring, but that's in the glove. It's not outside the glove. And it looked like the Indians dugout was barking at Ausmus. And now he goes back to the third base dugout. Bryan Shaw's just shaking his head. Well, Brad Ausmus went to Dartmouth, but in this case, an Ivy League education does you no good if you're just grasping at straws. Isn't it interesting Brad Ausmus is complaining after a single and a double? Whether he's trying to play mind games with Bryan Shaw? Bryan Shaw's probably saying, grab a bat. You couldn't hit when you were a major league catcher. Let's see what you can do now as a major league manager. And you could see Shaw was just sarcastically shaking his head at Ausmus. Oh, I'd love to be a little birdie sitting on the shoulder of Tito Francona as he talks to Mickey Callaway and his bench coach Brad Mills. Runner at second, one out. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Now Brad Ausmus wants to check the pants of Bryan Shaw. The glove didn't work. Let's try that. That just reeked of desperation, especially after a single and a double. You would think if there was a concern, it would have been after the strikeout of Kinsler. Then you go out and say something. I don't know. Managers are reluctant to do just what Ausmus did. Start to basically accuse somebody of scuffing the ball, because chances are somebody on your staff might be doing the same thing. And I'm not saying Bryan Shaw is scuffing it, but that's obviously what Brad Ausmus was intimating. Boy, you open up Pandora's box then. The old adage of those that live in a glass house, be careful about throwing rocks. Yeah, and the Tigers are coming to Cleveland the first week in May. We'll see how things go there.
Yeah, it's close enough where that will not be forgotten.
Oh, no.